We're seeing if we're young enough to hang in Eos.
Speak for yourself, I'm young.
Last year, my wife Katina and I moved to Greece to reconnect with her roots.
Now, my husband Rhett and I explore the Greek islands and immerse ourselves in the culture, guided by the people who know it best. Subscribe on YouTube to join us on our incredible Greek odyssey.
Eos may be a small island in the Cyclades, but it's got a big reputation for its vibrant party scene. It also has pristine beaches, picture-perfect Cycladic villages, jaw-dropping views, and beach clubs galore. But when we arrived, we quickly noticed the island has a youthful vibe that's a bit younger and wilder than what we expected. Think mostly 20-somethings dancing until the sun comes up.
Feeling a bit adventurous ourselves, we linked up with Dan, the mastermind behind Paradise on Earth. He's all about guiding you through Eos when you're ready to do more than party. Dan first stumbled upon Eos 7 years ago, fell in love with the place, and never looked back. So much so that he rode out the pandemic right here.
During COVID, all of the tourists were gone, and so got to really become super integrated into their way of life here and the community itself. It became a second home. There's a crew of people that come back every single year, and every time you get back here, it's like seeing your best friends again.
Dan loves traveling around Greece, but it's the close-knit community and charming size of Eos that lured him in and made it his second home.
You only need to be here for about 3 days before you start saying hi to almost everyone on the street, and it really feels like you are part of the family.
We quickly realized that Eos isn't just for the party-hard crowd. This island is brimming with natural beauty and fun for everyone. And with all the late-night festivities, exploring during the day feels like having the island's treasures all to yourself.
Today we just went out and did an ATV adventure day, and then we do a classic Greek lunch.
On our own Greek odyssey, we visited the tomb of Homer. Legend has it that the famous poet met his end here, supposedly from frustration after failing to solve a riddle posed by local fishermen. Dan also took us to discover some stunning beaches and hidden gems in the Cycladic paradise. Speaking of paradise, Dan's company teams up with Meltemi for an amazing boat tour, revealing remote beaches and an incredible swim spot called Never Bay. It's one of the coolest places I've ever taken a dive.
The highlight of our ATV tour was definitely Dieli Cheesery and Museum, where we met Helen. Her husband, Dimitris, was literally raised on this land.
In Eos, guests can combine many kinds of entertainment. Younger people find a party, water sports, vivid nightlife. More mature guests can find other places like our place here that we share culture. So that makes Eos a nice island to combine all these things.
And before we indulged in their delicious cheese, Helen gave us a taste of what life was like back on Eos in the day. With the island's small size and arid and windy climate, these were considered the difficult years of agriculture.
Till before tourism, small Greek islands like Eos were almost completely isolated. No ferries, no connections, no supermarkets, no mini markets, and nothing, zero. People had to be self-sufficient. Everybody was working in the fields to help for survival. Parents, grandparents, children, they had to create, produce, or cultivate whatever they needed on their own. Even simple things like salt. So they were collecting the salt from around the beaches on the rocks. They were bringing it here in this kind of giant mortars, and they were crushing it to use it for cooking, for cheese making, and most importantly, as a natural preservative.
Helen then took us inside the family's old home, where they had to make everything by hand right up until recent years. Now they've created a time capsule of how things used to be on Eos.
We are in a traditional Cycladian house. This is how locals used to live a few centuries ago till a few decades ago. The white small houses tradition started in the middle 50s. There was a disease back then, and the government published a law according to which everyone had to whiten their houses with lime as a disinfection measure. I don't know if it worked, but about a decade later, tourism started. The guests found their white small houses, and this is how the new tradition was established.
And it's not just a museum. They're still making cheese here the old-fashioned way, just like they've been doing for generations.
Here you see Grandpa Dimitris and Grandma Irini, the grandparents of my husband. Grandpa Dimitris was a cheesemaker. know that his father and grandfather were cheesemakers as well, so that makes Dimitris at least the 5th generation of a cheesemaker. In our farm, the procedure of making cheese back then with today is the same. But of course nowadays we use technology, modern equipment. Back then people were not making cheese to sell it as a business. They were making cheese to survive, to feed themselves and their families.
While some places might be wary of tourism, Ios embraces it with open arms. We discovered that locals truly understand how tourism can breathe new life into a once struggling island.
You know a little bit more now about small Greek islands and how much we owe to the guests. They gave Ios a second chance to a better life, so we always welcome our guests and we appreciate what they offer.
It's refreshing to see how the people of Ios are striking a balance between welcoming tourists and preserving their rich culture. For instance, take a Gora Cafe by the Garden of Ios. Nestled in the heart of the town's lively club scene, it's a surprising little haven where tradition and tourism harmonize perfectly.
We play traditional Greek music from the cities. It's an alternative way to have your night and be happy.
We soaked up the laid-back vibe and music in this charming square. And Donis, an artist at heart, is living his dream of playing music for a living, something made possible by the thriving tourism here.
I play music from 6 years old, and I want to play music. I don't want to do something else.
It's great to see that Ios isn't just about the parties. The locals are finding ways to stay true to their roots while sharing their culture with visitors. As our time on the Cycladic gem drew to a close, we couldn't help but reflect on everything we'd experienced.
There's a lot of culture to be had, and there's a lot of people trying hard to keep the culture alive on Ios.
Even with the increase in tourism and the changes on the island, people really are still wanting to hold on to what makes Ios special.
And there's a culture of people who live here every summer, and they've grown a love for Greece and really made it like their second home.
Yeah, and the people of this island really do embrace it. So I think that that says something about what is happening here.
What you see in a lot of places in Greece is the youth leave for opportunities. So this is really giving people an ability to stay on the island. We met young people that came here to party from Greece, America, all over Europe and Australia. It sort of has, I feel like, the vibe of Mykonos 20 years ago.
Oh, I agree. I was in Mykonos 20 years ago, and that was really my first thought is, okay, this is kind of like how Mykonos used to be.
And it's much more budget than Mykonos, which comes with a very expensive price tag.
Beach bars are huge here, and they were so cool. One of them basically felt like you were at a music festival, surrounded by beautiful Aegean Sea.
There really is an island for everybody, and we're traveling Greece to see what makes different places in Greece different and special and unique. And there are a lot of party places, and some that have lost the soul. And I think it's really cool that Ios has not. This still is an island that has something for everybody. Ios exceeded all of our expectations. The warmth of the people, the blend of adventure and its budget-friendly party scene. Ios does live up to its name as paradise on earth.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with our adventures. And if you're ready for more Greek island hopping, click here to join us on the next one.